What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Long Story Short Show. My name is Corey, and I just watched Doom Patrol Episode 3 the other day. And maybe it's just me, but when the old puppet guy was talking to Crazy Jane, it said something like, maybe the reason you don't want to consent to killing off your other personalities is because you're not the base personality. I was like, what the hell? You gotta tell me everything about Crazy Jane right now, Doom Patrol. You can't just leave fans on cliffhangers like that. So, naturally, I went and read up on Grant Morrison's Doom Patrol run, and in issue number 30, I found out what makes Crazy Jane's 64 personalities tick, and I, for one, am scarred. Warning out there for both spoilers and a little graphic. In this video, we will be going over not only the names of some of Crazy Jane's multiple personalities, but the reasons for being. Needless to say, some of them are pretty messed up. With that being said, let's get started. Let me stop for a second for anyone who has no idea who Crazy Jane, or Doom Patrol is for that matter. Crazy Jane, played by Diane Guerrero in DC's Doom Patrol, is a woman who has 64 different personalities, each with their own power. One has razor claws, one has the ability to teleport, one can even throw fireballs. So, someone called the X-Men because they've been replaced. Doom Patrol is a band of unconventional heroes who are all instructed by a paraplegic man with an interesting Indiana Jones-like background. They reside in the DC universe, and all the normal heroes like Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman know about their existence. They just kind of don't like them. The Doom Patrol are a little morally complex, so we'll say that. But anyway, in volume 1 of Grant Morrison's run in Doom Patrol, Robotman, our point of view character, is introduced to Crazy Jane, and he learns that her real name is Kay Chalice. I'm going to keep calling her Crazy Jane because it's more fun, and I just like Crazy Jane better. But just remember, Kay Chalice is her birth name until later in the video. It is important. She suffered abuse as a kid that resulted in her disassociating herself. Doctors have counted as many as 64 different personalities. Later, she was hit by a gene bomb, and after that, each one of her personalities inherited a power of their own. At this moment in the story, the first personality of Jane's that Robotman meets is the Hangman's beautiful daughter. She has the power to psychically control what she paints. She informs Robotman that the personality that he is looking for at the moment, Kay, resides in the underground, which is basically like a mental subway system where all the different subway stations are different personalities' living quarters. Through the first volume, we meet Driver 8, the driver of the mental subway train. We meet Rain Brain, who has the power to activate occurrences with her speech patterns. Black Anise, a blue-skinned, red-eyed Wolverine. We meet Baby Doll, a personality that's stuck in a prepubescent age. Blood of the Lamb. We don't really know what she is or what she does. She just screams blood of the lamb over and over again, and she has blood covering her for no real reason. So we'll just leave that where that one is. But this is going to be a pattern for some of the personalities. For some reason, they just repeat the same phrase over and over again. We meet Flint, who has the power to teleport. Mama Pentecost, who has an uncanny ability to translate anything. Hammerhead, who's really strong, but kind of an asshole. We have Sun Daddy, a giant fireball spewing god monster. And Spinning Jenny, who's useless. Throughout the first and beginning of the second volume, Jane is pushed to her mental limits, and this causes her to go into a coma. The active members of the Doom Patrol come to the conclusion that if they're going to heal her, they are going to need to send somebody down to the recesses of her mind and physically or psychically get her to wake up. Out of all the current members of the Doom Patrol, Robotman is the only one close enough to Jane to somewhat have a chance of succeeding. So that's exactly what he does. That's right, people, we're going underground. Someone turn on that dramatic spy music. As Cliff reaches the inner recesses of Jane's mind, he is met at once by Driver 8. She explains that Jane's mind has gone to a complete chaos. It seems that a couple of the personalities, the engineer and the point man, are trying to keep everyone settled, but at large. They've been unsuccessful. It seems that it is complete anarchy down here. No other personalities want to control Jane's body in fear that they might get hurt, so they just decided to start a ruckus instead. So, like I said before, every personality has a specific responsibility and reason for being. The Hangman's beautiful daughter comes out when Jane wants to show her artistic nature. Hammerhead shows herself when hostility is needed. And there are ones to bear physical pain in case of situations, and so on and so forth. This is all to keep the Underground Railroad running, and moreover, Jane's body running smoothly. But now it seems that only a few of the personalities are willing to pick up the pieces. As the train races, Robotman sees a bunch of scattered images of puzzle pieces. What these are psychic tremors that are still being radiated from K5, the quote-unquote first of them. K5 is the one who endured the original abuse, and there are two very important facts that come from this scene. The writer reestablishes that the original girl's name was indeed K Chalice, while at the same time stating that she hasn't actually been K since the age of 5. The personality is still around, it is just asleep, dormant somewhere in one of the train stations. As the train pulls into Crazy Jane's specific station, she is nowhere to be found. Driver 8 hopes aloud that she didn't go to the well. We get a glimpse of it later in the story, so I don't want to go in too much detail about it, but it is where the personalities go to die. Well, one personality, Miranda. Miranda was the first personality that sprung out of K Chalice after her initial abuse. More importantly, Miranda was the dominant personality for years. Miranda actually acquired a job in graphic design in Metropolis, and she was actually doing pretty well for herself, all things considered. However, on one Easter, she suffered abuse again in a church, and this brought back all the memories of the initial trauma as K Chalice. She was never supposed to remember that abuse. Miranda's job as a separate personality was to protect Kay from the memories of her original abuse. But when the situation arose, Miranda's mind simply could not handle what was happening and split into a total of 64 different personalities. Miranda, still in control of the body for the time being, entered herself in the mental hospital. This was the same mental hospital that she was hit with a gene bomb in, and this was the same hospital that Robot meets Jane in issue 19. However, the reason we never met Miranda back then is because she already killed herself in the well, and that is what Driver 8's fear for Crazy Jane is. As they make their way to the well, they pass two extreme personalities of Jane, one that would not hurt a fly, Baby Doll, and the most dangerous of her personalities, Black Anise. Black Anise is the aggressive, demonized Wolverine personality, and she is currently guarding the passage to the well. Black Anise is the epitome of all of Crazy Jane's hate and strife against men, and she acts as so. She immediately claws at Robotman, easily shredding parts of his metal body, and screams that he does not belong here. She states that all men bring is pain, and in order to save all of them, as in the other personalities, from this pain, she must kill Robotman. He pleads to let him through the passage so that he can save Jane, but she refuses, and condemns Driver 8 for even escorting Robotman this far. She states that she will protect Jane from ever feeling or having abuse by a man ever again, and she gives them a psychic projection of one of K5's memories of abuse. Robotman screams out that he isn't actually technically a man anymore. He's more a robot than anything, which says levels about how Robotman must feel about himself at this point. But when we come back from the flashback, he's not only talking to Black Anise, but a number of other of Crazy Jane's personalities, and they're all echoing the same sentiment, that if they let Robotman through to Jane, then he will use this opportunity to abuse her. Everyone starts yelling back and forth to each other, and everyone starts running out of time when the purple lady speaks up. She's stated to have never spoken before, but she says, "Let Cliff through." So the girls let Cliff through to the inner corridors. The inner corridors are the stations that inhabit the personalities that for one reason or another have to be separated from the general personality population. One is Baby Lamb, a girl who just repeats, "Daddy, don't do it." So what I can only assume is that since we meet Baby Doll right before we get to the inner corridors, And we meet Baby Lamb right as we initially delve into the inner corridors, that we are actually seeing two very closely linked personalities. One that never has to experience or acknowledge these traumatic memories or reality itself, and one who has no choice but to relive the initial trauma every moment for the rest of her life. Cliff also sees Butterfly Baby. This is the personality that I mentioned that comes out when Jane is being tortured. In the mindscape, she is wrapped by barbed wire and constantly screaming out in terror or pain. As he passes this personality, he sees Jane standing over the well speaking to herself. She states lines like, "Don't tell anyone you're dirty, we'll put you in a home." As Cliff approaches her, he's bombarded with memories of Kay and her father. I believe if you got this far in the story, you already put together what happened between these two. However, what we are shown is that before the abuse, Kay was working on a puzzle that she never finished. And this is a direct correlation between why and how there are so many split personalities. Jane prepares to throw herself into the well to go be with Daddy, but Cliff grabs her from behind in order to stop her. She screams out for him to let her go, saying that she deserves this, and Daddy says that she has to go down the well to be with him, and when Daddy says something, she has to do it. Because no matter how big she gets, he's going to be bigger, so she has to listen to him. And that's when we see the last personality of this video, Daddy. Daddy is a giant being in the deformed shape of her father, made out of feces and insects, and it has the voice of Jane. And all that it says at first is, "Baby lamb, baby lamb." As he grows out of the well and reaches for the two heroes, Cliff immediately pushes Jane aside and taunts the giant monster. With ease, Daddy picks up Robotman and bites his legs off. Jane sees this and immediately snaps out of her daze that she was in and confronts Daddy once and for all. Cliff, in her eyes, has been the first person who not only accepted her for who she really is, but also was the only one to go the extra mile to protect her. She bellows out that the Daddy personality takes everything from her. He ruins everything she even tries to enjoy, and as he looks down at her, she states that she doesn't have any more fear in her heart for Daddy. All she has is hate, and this is enough hate for her to generate enough power to destroy the Daddy personality, or at least incapacitate him from now. With the internal mental issue dealt with, Jane wakes up in the Doom Patrol headquarters, but unfortunately for her, Cliff did not follow. So, yeah, that's it, man. I just want to take some time to show this to everyone and see how you guys think this will compare to the Doom Patrol TV show. I personally like the fact that her personalities aren't like the personalities from Legion, how they kind of work against each other. I just think that it makes for a complex character and it lends itself for some original situations. Anyway, what do you guys think of Crazy Jane? Let me know how you guys feel in the comments, and if you guys want more Doom Patrol content, remember to give this video a like.